I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So you're gonna make this a record?
Well, we're going to try. Okay. First order of business is to approve the agenda. Does anyone have any questions, changes, additions to the existing agenda? No. If not, I guess I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
Second by Dave Bruzek. All in favor of approving the agenda as presented, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposition? Okay. Now here is the big question. We did this last year. We basically approved all of them in one fall swoop, if that's all right with anyone. If anyone has any question, I know Maggie, this is your first time, but if you have any questions on any of the appointments, we can get them answered. And then if not, we can kind of do the big proverbial one big motion.
Patrick, do you have a problem with going through all these at once? Okay.
I don't know if you want to go through it all at once, or if you want to do it one at a time.
Well, we're just wondering about, the only one we have is a designated official
I
newspaper.
know he doesn't have a vote, but it's a newspaper. I thought, well, maybe he doesn't want to be on it anymore. We'll put somebody else in there.
I do have one question.
Yep.
What are we holding at Wells Fargo? Utility funds, we have investments.
Yeah, we have truck,
Okay.
yes, we have.
Okay. I was just questioning just because of the issues with Wells Fargo, legal issues.
Mhm.
So I just wanted to,
Well,
Put it out there.
Dan Bischoff's on utilities, and he kind of manages the funds that we have there. I don't know what they're called again there. Because I was on the utilities a few years ago when we switched over to them. And we were getting a lot better, I think 2-point-some%
interest, great.
compared to the CDs that we had the money in before at like 0.29 and 0.19 and things like that. So we just transferred over to, it's almost funds that were actually, that cities can use and government entities can use for that. So they're pretty
Okay,
safe.
so they're investments. So
Yes,
okay,
yep.
Terrific, thank you.
Any other questions?
I'll move to approve item 1A through J.
I got a motion by Amy Jirik to approve the 2000 appointments A through J, and second by Shawn Ryan. If there's no other comments or questions, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Okay, passes 5-0. Ken, I'm glad you were prepared, because I bet you thought.
I am, no, we'll keep it quick. So what we have tonight for my first agenda item would be a proposal from SEH to complete the citywide sanitary sewer system study. About a month ago, at the December 4th council meeting, we had the MOU with the Scott County CDA that basically provided for the outline of the award of the Economic Development Incentive Grant that we were awarded for $87,067 to complete the study. And the remaining $43,533 we had budgeted in the city's wastewater budget. So this is a proposal that staff and SEH had worked on putting together to essentially first apply for the grant, and then we did a little bit of tweaking on the tail end here. And ultimately this would provide actual flow meters to be put in the pipes in the sanitary sewer system. So we get real data from our actual flows, and this study will take the better part of the year of 2018 to get done. We want to actually get this on tonight's meeting so that we could have our kickoff meeting with staff in early January here. We plan to have meetings with some of the developers in town to get their thoughts on what they think development may or may not occur, due to the fact that we're under 140 lots for residential development. And I'll be bringing you the vacant lot inventory at the next council meeting. But this is a pretty important document to get updated as soon as we can get it wrapped up and completed. But we just have to have it done by the end of 2018 for the grant. But we do recommend, based on what we had applied for in the grant and what we had budgeted for, this matches both of those amounts, for the total contract amount of not to exceed $130,600 from SEH to complete the study. We'll have a digital version, we'll have maps that we can actually reproduce. Right now it's just a big, thick paper document. So long overdue and very much needed and very timely for us, I think.
Amy, has the utilities decided at all if the water is gonna, I know they didn't get the grant, but,
There wasn't any discussion the last meeting.
okay. Okay. Any questions for Ken on this?
No, I'll make a motion to approve the proposal from SEH.
I'll second.
Okay, I got a motion by Dave Bruzek to approve the SEH proposal to do the sanitary sewer system study. Second by Maggie Bass. Any other questions or comments? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposition? Okay, passes 5-0. Moving right along.
So the next item is kind of a new requirement that we have from the 2017 legislature, making some changes to the polling place designation law. Basically, every year from here on out, as of the end of 2017, it took effect in 2018, we have to designate for the following year where our polling place will be. In the past, we would set a polling place and you would not have to have any change in that designation until the council changed it again. Whereas the old process, we would send a postcard when we changed the polling location and everybody would be notified that way. That's not changing, but the legislature wants a resolution passed by the council every year to notify the residents that the polling place is established annually. So we're not proposing to change it. We had a good experience at the PAC at St. Wentz. Worked well for handicap parking, accessibility. Worked that out with St. Wentz in the fall here to continue to have that at their PAC location as we had for the last election. So that's what we're proposing to continue to do, but we're doing this resolution here in January for the current election cycle. And then by the end of the year, by December 31, we have to then designate for 2019, even though we don't have an election. The law is specific that you still have to designate that, and then every year thereafter we'll have to reestablish. One thing that was a little confusing, one of the whereases notes that the council can designate a replacement polling place, but that's only in the case that if we designate it today and let's say 2 months from now, for some reason something happened at St. Wentz, we can still change the location. They just wrote that into the statute that this isn't set in stone. If you have to change it for whatever reason, you can still do that. So we're not proposing to change, but we'll bring this back for 2019, probably at the first or second meeting in December for location.
So when we make this resolution, are we basically, the school district has to follow that?
They already designated.
Or do they have to designate the same?
Yeah, they designated, earlier this fall.
Okay.
Yeah.
To do PAC also?
Yep.
Okay.
To follow the same location because they're now on our schedule.
And if there's ever a special election, does this resolution
This would cover all the elections for
Okay.
that year. Yep.
Okay. Because I think I read in the paper today that also the legislature that started this year that you could only have elective days or certain days.
Or special election.
Yes. So.
So you're not trying to sneak them in different days, yeah.
Sure.
Try to keep everything very out in the open and keep everybody informed. I'm not sure that people read our resolutions to get their information, but
Right.
we'll have it in there.
But we're still required by law to post that before the election where it's at.
We still have to post that.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay. Any other questions? If not, I guess I'll make a motion to approve the designate as PAC at St. Wentz as our official polling place.
Second.
Second by Dave Bruzek. If there's no other questions, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Okay, consent agenda. Does anyone have any questions, changes, modifications, anything on the consent agenda?
I have some that think I noticed a couple of discrepancies in the minutes, but I'll pass this on to Mike and for whoever wants, they can change it.
Okay.
Other than that, no.
Anyone else have any questions or any issues on any of the consent agenda? It's just the minutes and the payments. Okay, if not, I guess I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda with some of the minor changes to the minutes for Dave Bruzek. It's going to make some.
Second.
Okay, I got a second by Dave Bruzek. There's no other questions or concern. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Okay. Moving right on, miscellaneous. Patrick, you got anything?
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Thank you, Patrick. Same to you. Mitch? Okay, is it me? Ken, anything else?
Just a heads up for the council, a reminder, I'll have the vacant lot inventory at the next council meeting. That'll give that update along with our building permit statistics report from 2017. So we'll kind of put those together and give you a nice update on what land we have left and how the year went.
Okay, thank you. Mike? Barb?
No, happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Shawn?
Nope.
David?
Yeah, there was a question, I think, I'm not sure whether Amy or Maggie brought it up about the equipment for the Prior Lake piece.
Oh, that was me, that about,
That basically, under that contract is that the difference in the hourly rate was if we had officers that were going in accordance with the schedule, were at straight time, then it was the $60 an hour. If it was officers that would encounter overtime, then it was $90, but it did include a vehicle going over.
Did, okay.
And if we had any reason where we had an emergency or whatnot, is we can get out of that very easily.
okay.
They've got other backup capabilities.
Yeah, I think those are the two concerns, the
Yep.
breach of contract and if our equipment is being used. So, okay.
The other thing I have is I would like to acknowledge to the public, that's a very positive thing for me, is that city, or Mike's name, got a water fluoridation quality award. I think that's important. 12 months out of the year that our fluoride was properly made.
And
Concentration.
it's not as if it hasn't been, it's just that they've now got a recognition program for
Right.
that, and I'll have Bruce prepared to talk about that at an upcoming meeting.
Yeah, but we were one of 17% of Minnesotans that got it.
I think it goes for our staff, it works really hard to keep those levels very consistent, so.
It is.
The water staff should be very
Yeah.
proud of themselves.
So I'm impressed.
Anything else? Maggie?
No, sir.
Amy?
Yeah, I have a question. What's the status of the stakeholders meeting? I have a memorial committee meeting after this. Anything going on with the project, or when the plans will be, or when they know with the park,
No,
the space?
there's nothing quite at this point that we can
Okay.
give you to take into that committee meeting process, other than what we've given you already today.
Because they talked about, previously, they talked about in January, possibly starting some plans and layouts. Are they at that point, or?
They're going to be getting into that in the next stage, in the next part of the contract.
Okay, so like when would be a good time to check back, so I don't ask every meeting? February? Just as now as they're, we have there's a large event happening next month.
I can tell you that last stakeholder meeting, one of the preferences was not to have the back-end parking in front of the library. So that is one feature that was voted at least on by the committee, to not have the back-end parking. So that theoretically would have lessened up about 5 feet from that area. But
Okay.
But until Chris gets into, and SEH gets into the municipal design for the city improvements, which at this point, they have not directly started to do that, so that we can give you a more definitive geographic land area differential other than what we have. I will see and ask Chris as far as the timing as to when he thinks we might logically have that to
Okay,
answer
yeah,
the
just to
question.
estimate,
Yeah.
so I don't keep, at least I can give another,
But I think their concern was they didn't want the back end. And
well, that was one of the issues here,
Right.
yeah.
okay.
So, and now they're planning on getting some architect to help, so, to sort of know that footprint.
But at this stage, that, you know, and taking a look at that, they're a little ahead of the game until we're able to give them something definitive other than just conceptual planning within the framework that we've already given them. That obviously, I think the biggest change that we had talked about is whether the storm sewer can be rerouted. And that until they get into probably additional field work and geographic field work, which probably won't be till this spring, but I maybe go and I'll check with Chris.
All right, and if that's fine, just I can sort of give them, well, we won't know more till April or whatever it is.
Yeah, anything else?
No, that's all.
Okay. Ken, I just had a question. In the planning minute meetings, you guys kind of addressed that interim ordinance.
We're working on it.
Have you heard anything else from the people who were talking about that to you at all?
The two specific inquiries that we had?
Yeah.
No, I haven't heard
Okay.
any more on that.
So we don't know.
But we're trying to work through it as quickly as we can.
Yeah, no, I just was wondering if there was, you know, any other
No.
communication you had with him. And finally, Mike, you know, I saw that there's a dividend coming out from LMC Trust, the insurance trust.
Yeah, some small dividend. I don't know if Patty has gotten that yet.
Okay, so we don't know roughly what we'll get.
We never know what it is.
Okay.
But, I just wanted to make sure when I went through a lot of the recent big insurance stuff, I wanted to at least let you know that so you can see what's there. But that would go back in the general fund that we kind of guesstimate what that is, but I don't know the dollar amount for 2017.
Okay, and that's no big deal. It is what it is. I just thought, I was wondering if. Okay, and the only other thing I have, next meeting is Tuesday, right?
Correct. 16th.
16th. We're gonna have a closed door meeting afterwards to do Mike's review. So just FYI, I just want to let people know that. So. Okay, I do not have anything else. If there's nothing else to discuss, I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Second by Dave Bruzek. All in favor to adjourn, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Thank you, everyone.